Hello everyone, Mrs. Brose here in the art room at LCA, and I want to discuss with you your art project this week. So we are going to be doing a review on the elements of art. There are 7 elements of art, and those things are our tools to make really good art. So I'm going to list them for you really quickly. Line. Line goes on to make shape. Shape can be put into 3-dimensional form, things you can walk around, and that you can have some space, and then you can add color and value, lights and darks, not to mention texture, how things appear to feel or how they actually feel. Now, so your question is, what tools would you find in an artist's tool belt? So you got to go back to what we just said, the elements of art. Those are going to be the tools you're going to find in your tool belt. And how do you use these tools to create art effectively? So you have to use them really well in order to make beautiful art. Now I want to ask you another question, and you can answer these in the email back to me once you've finished your artwork for the week. Is it okay for an artist to break from tradition? I'm going to give you a little story. So maybe some of you have seen the Lego movie. And the big problem in the Lego movie is that in real life, the little boy wants to keep creating and changing the world that his dad has created. But his dad is very upset when things change, and he wants to super glue all the pieces together so they stay permanently fixed that way. Now, in history, the French came up with this academy, and they would have a salon periodically that they would showcase artwork, and they got to decide what was good and what wasn't good. And sometimes people wanted to break those traditions because they felt like there was new ways of expressing themselves or showing these beautiful elements of art, these tools, in a new way. And they didn't like it so much at first. And so they decided to come up with their own academy, and the Impressionists did that in the 1800s. And I'm glad they did, because if they hadn't, we wouldn't have learned all about the Impressionistic art form and its beauty and gone on to learn about abstract art and Expressionism. So thankfully, those artists broke from tradition, and they didn't stay in the classical, neoclassical, romanticism, Baroque periods that everything was at the time. They broke from that, and they were able to express some new ideas. So answer that question, is it okay for an artist to break from tradition? Think about that, okay? Now, for the review project, I'm going to turn my camera so you can see what I'm doing, and I want you to do your best at home, follow along, and then you can take a picture of your artwork and return it to me by email along with the answers to some of these questions, okay? I hope you guys have a great week. So I've got a pretty big piece of paper that I'm starting with here, but you can start off with whatever you have, if it's copy paper or whatever. So the first thing I'm going to do with this is just fold it in half, because I want to find my midpoint of my paper, my center of my paper. So I hold the corners, line them up really well, pull my finger down to the bottom, and then rub it back and forth. And now I have a midpoint. From here, you're going to need a ruler to make some lines. Okay, so we are dividing this up into 2 X's. So there's going to be an X here and an X on the other side. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to just put my ruler up at the corner, and I'm going to just eyeball it. I really should have a yardstick because this one is a little too short. So I'm going to make an X on this part, and I'm just going to have to carry it through here. I might pause my video and go get a yardstick. Okay, that's better. So I'm going to make my first line from corner to corner there, and you can see where I messed up that other line. That's okay. And then I'm going to make an X from corner to corner on this side, and then I'm going to repeat myself on the opposite. And when I am done making my marks, I should have 7 spaces to fill. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, I'm going to erase this line I don't want. Inside of each of these is going to be one of your elements of art. The center one, I want it to be color. And here is a good place to make a color wheel. So starting from the center, we have 3 primary colors. So I'm going to draw 3 sections. It doesn't have to be perfect. 3 sections. This is going to be for red, blue, yellow. Those are the 3 primary colors. And then I'm going to put the colors that they make in the opposite area. So red and blue make purple, yellow and blue make green, and yellow and red make orange. And when I color these in with the right colors, I'll have a kind of color wheel. You can do a really neat job and measure this all out, or you can get creative and do them in lines, whatever you want. But this one's color, okay? Now, in the other ones, you have to do a picture of lines. So lines, remember, are either curvy or straight. And any variation of that is just a variation of curvy and straight. Okay, and some of these lines could be really thick. They could be interrupted lines. They could be really thick lines or thin lines. So you can play with your lines there. Now, shape is another element of art that you need to include. Now, shape can be geometric, like a circle or a triangle, but it can also be organic, or anything like maybe a leaf. So if you want to draw some fall leaves or anything else that you think is cool, you can draw some leaves, okay? So shape. Now shape, when you turn them into form, they become 3-dimensional. So now my triangle is becoming a cone or a pyramid. My circle becomes a sphere, and you show that by value, by doing the lights and darks. So you have to show me that this ball is round, okay, and that this cone has shape, and this triangle is a pyramid, okay? You can also do cubes. Okay, and also add value. So show me some form. You can look on the internet with permission from your parents to get some ideas of form, or you can draw something 3-dimensional and really shade it in. Space. Now space is showing me that this particular one has dimension. So I'm going to start with a horizon line where the earth meets the sky. I'm going to put my vanishing point here, and then I'm going to pull 2 lines coming off of my vanishing point. This is going to be my road. And as I go on my road, my lines get bigger the closer they get to me, and the farther away they get, the smaller they get, but also the closer together they get, okay? It makes it look like it's going away from you. Now, if you wanted to add some other elements to this, I'm going to draw from my vanishing point again. So maybe I want to add a fence or a tree or something. It would have to fit in these lines, getting smaller as it gets closer to my vanishing point, okay? Hopefully you can see that. So this is space, okay? Value is just how light or dark something is. So you could do something, I'm just gonna grab some paint and show you with just some paints, but you can use markers or paint or crayons or whatever you have, colored pencils. So if I do value, I'm going to start off with a really dark value. So I'm going to get more paint on this. But as I go and I just add more water and pull it down each time, it's going to get lighter as I go down. That's value, from going dark to light. So again, pulling this color down, it gets lighter as it gets to the bottom. That is value. So showing me something going from a light color to a dark, or a dark color to a light color, okay? So value is in this one. All right, so I have line, shape, form, color, space, value, texture. Now with texture, you can show me the way something, you would think something would feel. I have some bumpy cardboard. If I take my pencil and color over top of it, I get a texture, and I can move it around and get some overlapping textures. And you can do this with colored pencils so it shows up, and you can do all different colors, whatever you would like. Or if you want to draw me something that looks soft or something that looks hard, you can give me an implied texture. Now, once you're done with that, you can do something fun. You can write your name across the top, or you can write the word art over top of all of this background. Okay, so I want you to follow this example, and then I can't wait to see what your element of art review sheets look like. So I hope you guys have a great week. Take care.